African Union Communications, Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command and combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing on the progress of the special military operation as of March 24, 2026. Last night, in response to terrorist attacks launched by Ukraine against civilian facilities in Russia, the armed forces of the Russian Federation carried out a massive strike with long-range air and surface-launched high-precision weapons, unmanned aerial vehicles against enterprises of the Ukrainian defense industry that produce different types of missiles and components for them, as well as military airfields. The goals of the strike were achieved. All the assigned targets were engaged. The North Group of Forces have established control over Peschanoye in the Kharkov region. Two mechanized brigades, a motorized infantry brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a National Guard brigade, have been hit near Volokhovskoye, Izbitskoye, Kolodezhnoye, and Shevyakovka in the Kharkov region. In the Sumy region, units of a mechanized brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade have been hit near Kondratovka, Malaya Korchakovka, and Miropolye in the Sumy region. The armed forces of Ukraine losses amounted to more than 235 troops, 4 armored fighting vehicles, 10 motor vehicles, a field artillery gun, and a counterfire radar. 5 materiel depots have been neutralized. The West Group of Forces improved the tactical situation. 3 mechanized brigades, an assault brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade have been hit close to Borovaya, Novoosinovo, Shikovka in the Kharkov region, Krasny Liman, and Svyatogorsk in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy losses amounted to up to 190 troops, 2 tanks, 4 armored fighting vehicles, 22 motor vehicles, and 1 artillery gun. 2 ammunition depots were destroyed. The South Group of Forces took more advantageous lines and positions. Formations of 2 mechanized brigades, an assault brigade, a motorized infantry brigade, and a mountain assault brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine have been hit close to Artema, Ilyanovka, Konstantinovka, Krivaya Luka, Nikiforovka, Novoselovka, and Slavyansk in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 180 troops, 2 armored fighting vehicles, 13 motor vehicles, 2 field artillery guns, including a Polish-made 155mm Krab self-propelled artillery system, and 2 Israeli-made RADA RPS-42 counterfire radars. 3 materiel depots were destroyed. The Center Group of Forces improved the situation along the front line. Russian units hit 3 mechanized brigades, an infantry brigade, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a marine brigade, and 2 territorial defense brigades near Belitskoye, Grishino, Dobropolye, Ivanovka, Novoalexandrovka, Svetloye, and Torskoye in the Donetsk People's Republic. The Ukrainian armed formations lost more than 330 troops, 8 armored fighting vehicles, 9 motor vehicles, 6 artillery guns, including a US-made 155mm M777 howitzer and a French-made Caesar self-propelled artillery system. Moreover, 1 US-made ANTPQ-48 electronic warfare station was neutralized. The East Group of Forces continued advancing to the depth of the enemy's defense. A mechanized brigade, an air assault brigade, 2 assault brigades, and 3 assault regiments have been hit close to Alexandrovka, Dobropasovo in the Dnepropetrovsk region, Boykovo, Vozdvizhevka, Gorkoye, Komsomolskoye, and Kopani in the Zaporozhye region. The enemy lost more than 280 troops, 2 armored fighting vehicles, 9 motor vehicles, and 3 field artillery guns. The Dnieper Group of Forces inflicted losses on the manpower and hardware of a mechanized brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade near Zaporozhets, Kamyshevka, Orakov, and Preobrazhenka in the Zaporozhye region. More than 50 troops, 1 armored fighting vehicle, 5 motor vehicles, 3 electronic warfare stations, and 1 materiel depot were neutralized. Operational tactical aviation, attack drones, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian groups of forces have inflicted damage on the transport infrastructure facilities of Ukraine used in the interests of the armed forces of Ukraine, preparation and launch sites of long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as temporary deployment areas of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 142 areas. Air defense systems shot down 10 guided aerial bombs and 259 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles.
In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the enemy has lost 671 aircraft, 284 helicopters, 126,922 unmanned aerial vehicles, 652 anti-aircraft missile systems, 28,453 tanks and other armored fighting vehicles, 1,691 MLRS combat vehicles, 34,033 field artillery guns and mortars, 57,614 units of support military vehicles.
Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.